Welcome into a little Sports Animal video Zoom series with Eric Cain. I'm Josh Ward. We appreciate you being here, and we're having this conversation 1 week out from the NFL draft. I think all of us, whether you're typically into the draft or not, are ready for the draft. So we thought today we'd spend a few minutes talking about the Tennessee football prospects who are heading into the NFL draft. And Eric Cain, I think the conversation has to start with Darrell Taylor. I think he's likely the first of all to be selected. I think he has a chance to be a Friday selection. So the draft setup will be Thursday night, we'll have the first round. Friday, we'll have the second and third rounds. And then rounds 4 through 7 will be on Saturday. Right now, I would say I think Darrell has a good chance to be a mid-third round pick. He's an intriguing prospect. He's a terrific athlete. He's shown really good signs of being an effective pass rusher. But what do you think about Darrell as a prospect and just his status heading into the draft? And remember, Darrell was not able to work out at the combine, was able to be there, but because of some offseason surgery, wasn't able to go through the workouts.
Yeah, he was at the combine. He wasn't able to go through workouts, but still graded very high as a guy that could come in and be an immediate backup, potential starter at the NFL level. You know, Darrell Taylor, Tennessee fans have seen him throughout his career, kind of boom or bust, but you found here in his senior season more of consistency to where he had a lot of blow-up games his junior year, but then he was kind of nowhere to be found, missing in action the rest of the way. But you found that consistency a little bit here in his senior year. He's a guy that's versatile. He's played outside linebacker on a 4-3. He's played down as a DN, hand in the dirt. He can stand up at a two-point stance. He has a low center of gravity. He kind of comes off the edge. I like his dip and rip motion. He's got a lot of moves out there that's very appealing as a pass rusher. So Darrell Taylor, certainly Tennessee's highest draft prospect. He's going to be the first one off the board for the Volunteers. I, like you, kind of have him in that third-round range on Friday as well. We'll just have to see. But I think Darrell Taylor, he has all the intangibles, when healthy, to really fit into really any type of NFL defense. Because, again, he's played multiple defenses here at Tennessee, but he's most effective standing up coming off the edge.
I think the next guy that's most intriguing to talk about from Tennessee is Jauan Jennings, a fan favorite, of course, and the way that he plays is a big reason why fans love him, and I think why NFL teams will be interested. He's shown the ability to make plays at high level in the SEC. I think the questions the NFL will be asking will be, one, durability in terms of he's dealt with injuries at Tennessee. Could that be an issue at the next level? He will have had to answer, I'd say at this point, off-field questions. And then speed. He's not an elite receiver in terms of his speed and the measurables. But again, he makes plays. I would like Jauan Jennings on my football team. I think players would like playing with him. And as a guy that projects as a mid to late round pick, I don't think you have to worry about how hard he's going to fight to make an NFL team. He'll play special teams. He'll do all that stuff. So I like Jauan as a prospect. I'll be curious to see what the reaction is from NFL teams. But to me, there's a lot of value with Jauan. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with you. You said it right there. He's a guy that you want on your team if you're a fan of, say, the Raiders or the Titans like myself. He's a guy that you'd like to see your franchise take in the late rounds and just kind of bring him in, see what he can do. He ran a 4.71 at the combine, and that's not good. Is it the end of the world? No, it's not. But we knew coming in Jauan Jennings wasn't the fastest guy in the world. You thought he might be a little bit faster, and I think he is faster than that 4.7 that he ran at the combine. But ultimately not having a pro day kind of hurts him in that regard. But teams are going to draft Jauan Jennings on his route running, on his speed. Because, again, remember, he's only played wide receiver a couple of years, came into Tennessee as a dual-threat quarterback, and so he's still really raw in a lot of aspects of that position. But what you can't coach is toughness. What you can't coach is grit, the tackle-breaking ability, and that's something that obviously fans not only here in Tennessee and SEC country, but around the entire country have known in coming in with Jauan Jennings that he can break those tackles. So I think for those intangibles, certainly going to be a late-round pick. He will be drafted, I do believe, and it's going to be kind of a work-in-progress type deal to where just see what you have in him. He was playing special teams, kickoff team, punt teams as late as his senior year here at Tennessee, so he's going to be a draftable player for sure, and hopefully he can translate and make something of an NFL career.
What do we think about Marquez Callaway, who may go undrafted? He might be picked. I'm not sure. He's a guy that I think the numbers he posted at the combine were good enough. Not elite in terms of speed, but he can go up and catch the football. We saw that at Tennessee. What do you think about Marquez at the next level?
Yeah, Marquez, I think that he didn't have a fantastic showing at the combine. He didn't have a fantastic career here at Tennessee, but he did show, as you pointed out, he can go up, high point the football. He runs some slick routes. I think something's going to help him a lot is he might not be a returner in the National Football League, but the ability to return. He's returned a couple of punts here at Tennessee. You know how hard that is to do. He's returned kicks. He runs a 4.5. Again, it's fast enough, but it's not great. Another developmental player, but again, has the intangibles. A late round pick for Tennessee potentially, or undrafted. But I expect Marquez to be drafted. We'll just have to see. He's going to be competing for a roster spot. If not, he could be a guy that is signed for via special teams to continue to stay in a system and maybe get another shot in the years to follow.
Let's talk about a couple of defensive guys, Eric. Daniel Batuli, who was a leader for Tennessee the last couple of years. If you found the ball, you would probably find Daniel Batuli at the end of the play, leading Tennessee in tackles the last few years. What do you think about Daniel at the next level, and maybe what kind of defense he would fit in?
Yeah, I think he's versatile. I think he can play in a number of different, defenses, whether it be a 3-4, a 4-3, some type of multiple, but he's going to be inside. Now, he showed the ability here at Tennessee to play that jack linebacker a little bit and come off the edge. He can rush the passer, but he's not overly big. He's not overly fast. He's not, super strong. He just kind of is what he is. But the results prove, here at Tennessee, not many guys have led the team in tackles for 3 consecutive seasons like Daniel Batuli has. And so, again, I expect him to be a guy. And what gives him a chance at the next level is, special teams are all linebackers, kick return, punt return, kickoff, whatever it may be. It's all filled with linebackers. And so you need linebackers galore in your camp. And so he'll get an opportunity here in the fall. I like what you see there. He's got a lot of stuff he can't coach, but obviously he's down the list in terms of inside linebacking prospects for this NFL draft.
Is the biggest question with Nigel Warrior, you think his size, he's sub 200 pounds, trying to play safety at the next level. Now, he was an all-SEC player, and I would think something that helps is that he's a Jeremy Pruitt player, a guy that we saw clearly progress, and he was highly touted coming out of high school. I do think some NFL teams actually pay attention to that stuff in terms of measurables, but again, not the biggest guy at the safety position. What do you think about Nigel coming off a really good senior year, especially those last couple of months of the season?
For a guy that's not very big, not very strong, had kind of an up and down career, but really rebounded and had a strong finish to his Tennessee career with a strong senior season. I think, and Josh, tell me if you agree with me, I think the fact that he is coached by Jeremy Pruitt, like you said, the fact that he took a notion to try to learn and try to improve as much as he did his senior year. He's been quoted by sitting next to Jeremy Pruitt in every single meeting, picking his brain and trying to figure things out, always trying to get that extra work in. But it showed you when he had that interception against Alabama running down the sideline, then you saw out of nowhere Henry Ruggs III chase him down, the difference right there in what NFL talent is. I think Nigel Warrior will certainly have an opportunity. Jeremy Pruitt, when talking about all of these draft prospects, said they all put on good tape their senior years, and Nigel Warrior certainly put on some good tape. He'll have to work. It'll be tough. He's kind of on that fringe if he's going to get drafted or not, but because he took the initiative to improve as much as he did his senior year, that's going to give him a chance.
One more play to talk about, tight end Domwood Anderson, a guy that arrived as a highly touted guy out of junior college, and his numbers probably weren't as good as they could have been because he's playing in the same offense with Juwan Jennings and Marquez Callaway, and they're going to get a large share, Josh Palmer as well, of the targets from the quarterback. But what do you think about Domwood Anderson as a tight end prospect for the NFL?
Not a very good showing at the NFL Combine. Too big, way too slow. He was the number one tight end coming out of JUCO a couple years ago. Had high expectations here at Tennessee, but for reasons as you just mentioned, play with Marquez Callaway, Juwan Jennings, Josh Palmer. There's only one football to go around. Tennessee tried to make it a point to get him the football early in contests this past season, but it ultimately never really paid out. He'll have a lot of work to do for sure. But again, like linebackers, tight ends are a position to where you need a couple of them. They can translate into the backfield as blocking guys at the fullback position. So in that regard, that's a good thing for Dominic Wood Anderson. But wouldn't expect DWA to get drafted here this coming up weekend. And what is a weak overall class in terms of tight ends, Dominic Wood Anderson is near the bottom.
6 Tennessee players to pay attention to. We're not sure how many will be drafted, but guys that go undrafted will still have plenty of opportunities as undrafted free agents. We're going to continue to have coverage leading up to the draft. We'll have live coverage during the first round next Thursday night. Check out 99.1thesportsanimal.com for updated mock drafts at the beginning of the week to get you ready. And again, after it all takes place, we'll talk about where the Tennessee Vols will have landed. For Eric Cain, I'm Josh Ward. We have coverage all day long, every day for you. Check us out online on the WNML app. Your smart speaker at home, remember, is an option, as I know that people are spending a little more time at home. And, of course, we're on your radio dial, 99.1 FM. Thanks so much for being here. We'll see you again next time on our Zoom video series for FM 99.1, the Sports Animal.